different pulses. This is where you're going to first look at her carotid pulse. So first of all, I'm just going to palpate. You go right into that groove, and I'm going to palpate her carotid pulse. And she has a great carotid pulse. I would say it's a 4+. Okay, if I'm gonna
It usually is.
And remember, we grade pulses, you know, peripheral pulse. I would grade hers as a, 2+ or 3+. She's got a great peripheral pulse. Okay. So we're going to palpate both of her carotids, and then we're going to listen to them. And when we did all of our auscultating with respiratory, we did it all with the diaphragm, right? Now we're going to switch to the bell, because this is a vascular area that we're listening over. We're listening to the carotid arteries. So I'm going to have you just hold your breath. Don't breathe. And breathe. And hold your breath. Breathe. So really what I should hear is, if anything, I may hear a pulse, but I should not hear any turbulence. So you might hear just their pulse, dun, 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 their heartbeat a little bit. But turbulence or bruit is going to sound like, it's like a stream, like a wide river that has no rocks in it. That's really quiet when it's going by, right? You don't really hear much. Now you get to a place where there's a whole bunch of rocks, and it's loud. So the same thing in your carotid arteries, the blood is flowing and there's no turbulence in there, there's no plaque buildup. You're not really going to hear, it's quiet. But when there becomes plaque buildup, then it's going to be turbulent. You're going to hear noise. So that's bruit. So I inspected and palpated and listened to her carotid arteries. Now there's 5 different places on the chest that we're going to listen to. There's 4 that we palpate in the cardio system. Aortic, pulmonic, Erb's point. It's not a palpate, but it's the halfway point. It's called the sweet spot. It's halfway point between the pulmonic and tricuspid and then mitral. And those are all associated with a valve in the heart and what is going on with the heart. So first of all, I need to find that first. So you've got your clavicle, you have your substernal notch, and then this top part of your sternum is the manubrium, and right off of that is going to be your second rib and your second intercostal space. So this is, first rib kind of goes up here and it's a little harder to palpate, second rib, and then above that second intercostal space. So you need to find, actually I think there's your rib right there, second intercostal space. And that's the first place that I'm going to actually palpate. And I can't really feel anything, no thrill. If she had a heart murmur in the aortic region, I may actually be able to feel it, but I don't feel anything. And then I'm going to go straight across to the second intercostal space. There it is. Second intercostal space to the left. And this is the pulmonic. And again, I'm feeling, and I really don't feel anything. And that would be normal. And then I'm going to go third intercostal space. This is Erb's point. It's where we listen. We actually don't palpate, because there's no valve there. So then tricuspid, fourth intercostal space. And again, I don't feel anything. And then fifth intercostal space, mid-clavicular. And for this, for women, it's just right underneath the bra. And remember, this is the apical pulse, right? This is that point of maximum impulse. So I can actually feel her heart here, and that would be normal. Because this is the, you're not going to on everybody, but you can pretty much if you get right to that fifth intercostal space, mid-clavicular. Okay? So first of all, I'm just palpating, feeling for thrills. I didn't feel any thrills, I just felt her heartbeat at the mitral region. And then I'm going to auscultate. And I'm going to auscultate with it.
What does that mean? Like like if she had a heart murmur, like, I mean, you just said a thrill, but like what is that?
A thrill is going to feel like kind of like a buzz. And again, it's in a vascular area. People that have fistulas for dialysis, they actually do a surgery and tie a vein and an artery together, and it makes if you feel that, it goes zzz, zzz, it makes like a little, there's like a turbulence there. The same thing would be here. If that valve was having an issue with closing or opening, sticking, you may actually feel, and it's going to be like a vibration. That's what it's going to feel like. Not like the heartbeat that we feel down here,
Right.
but more like a continuous vibration.
Okay.
So now I'm going to auscultate, and I'm going to do it with both the bell and the diaphragm, because you can hear high and low pitched murmurs depending on which one you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the bell. So which S1, S2 is what I'm listening for. What am I going to hear louder up here at aortic and pulmonic? S1 or S2? S2. Yes. You're going to hear S2 louder, because this is where you are. The closing of the aortic and the pulmonic valve is that S2 sound. So that's going to be louder up here at top. And then I told you there's that sweet spot, Erb's point. That's where it should be equal. That's third intercostal space. They're equally loud. And then I'm going to go to tricuspid. Now S1 is getting louder.